Something's up. It's not sharing. Hold on. Am I in? I'm plugged in. Oh. Oh, I don't know. This one? Missed something. Okay, whatever. It worked. I hate that. I hate when things work and I don't know why, because then I can't be sure I'll be able to do it again. Okay, well, it worked, so I should be happy. This is where we left off. We were talking about internal rate of return, but the case where it's not just an investment project or just a financed project. That is when the cash flows have one sign change. So we notice here in this example, there's actually a sign change. So this is the mathematical result, okay? If there's two sign changes, it makes a function that will actually turn. It'll turn down or turn up. And if it has three sign changes, it'll turn up and down, and it'll do it'll have more opportunities to cross this line. In other words, to have more instances where the NPV is 0. So this is going to go negative, positive, this one, and then it goes positive, negative. What does it mean? It means that there are as many as two sign changes will mean that there's as many as two internal rates of return. So what I explained was what you need to do is generate this called the NPV profile that basically shows you when the project will be profitable. So all you're doing is taking this equation or this data here, the initial cash flow is a negative. It looks like an investment, but then there's a negative out in the future. So this could be because, so let's talk about the reality of this. Okay, so it could be that you make a $260,000 investment and then you recover most of your costs in 1 year and the project continues to proceed. So let's say you have a facility where you're doing outpatient surgery, right? So you have the facility, you invest right away, it's popular, there was a demand, you recover your costs, it continues, and then you have to start restoring everything. So you're going to be out of, if you don't watch yourself, you're going to run low on cash and you're going to have problem meeting obligations. And so, and then later you have to restore a lot more. So you're going to have to borrow money to do that. So this ends up in a negative. Now you got to figure out when the heck will this be profitable? So it'll be profitable depending on the required rate of return that you use. If you use a very high, if you have a very high required rate of return, if it happens that this, investing in this is compared to investing in certain derivative, or certain stocks or some sort of investment that you know is going to give you a high rate of return, and you use that required rate of return as your opportunity cost, then that high rate of return will diminish the effect of this, right? It'll have very little impact from the time zero perspective. Also, if you use a very low discount rate, it will retain the power of this $250, this $300, and it'll offset this impact later on. So it turns out when you put this in your calculator, not your calculator, but you put this in Excel as your NPV with the NPV function, changing different discount rates. So you start low. Now we're going to put a negative in, but that doesn't mean anything really technically. We're just trying to find where mathematically you get a discount rate of 0. You get an NPV of 0. So we notice that this is like going up, right? From the negatives, it crosses here. So this is the break-even project. It means that that's where you're going to find one internal rate of return. So you find here it's like 12% is the internal rate of return. And then look here, this is what you really care about. This is where the project will be profitable. And if you think of these in thousands of dollars, your revenue here will be 3,000. Then here it's 4,000 and then 3,000. And so this will be profitable in here with those returns. And so a discount rate between here and here. So it's estimated. You can estimate this in Excel. We noticed we could only estimate one in Excel. You can't get the other one, but you can see it here. So you would just tell me, there's only one, I think, exercise that I put like this. So you can tell me, you make this thing called the NPV profile. You repeatedly compute the NPV for different discount rates, and you show me where the project is profitable. So as long as the firm is comparing or using a discount rate of about 12% to 30%, the project is profitable. If they're using something higher or something lower, it's not. And that's how you just answer the question, right? So this thing is just made by using the NPV formula several times. And I showed that in Excel. This is what it looks like. I actually asked you to make a graph. You can do that in Excel too. If you want, I can show you how to do it, but you could probably do it by yourself to make this graph. And this is just saying the same thing, except the project provided the required rate of return for the firm is between 11.252 and 29.84. I don't put anything in this drawing beyond here because a firm will not use a discount rate less than 0. It doesn't make sense. Why would they pursue a project if they lose money on it? It doesn't make sense. But mathematically, this curve continues beyond here. But we're just using math as a tool to help us find that this is where it's profitable. Any questions about this? You should have a feel for it, but maybe feel uneasy until you do it yourself. Okay, so just practice. You can practice with the ones I have here in the notes, or you can just go right to the assignment and try the one I have there. Here's another set of returns. And I left it blank here. Do you want to try it yourself with Excel? You want me to show you how to get this? Okay. All right. So again, let's review the cash flows. So the cash flow, it looks like an investment, $900,000. And then look at that. You make all your money in a year and some, and then you make even more in the second year. But then you have to either restore either equipment or make a new investment or do something, because in the third year we predict a cash outflow. So those two sign changes will result in up to 2 internal rates of return. So we got to find them. So let me just peek over here what the answer is so I do this right. Okay. So let's go to Excel. Okay, who wants to tell me what to do? I'm going to write everything out. So I'm just going to call them cash flows. I'm going to make my columns centered so it looks nice. And then I'm going to put in and you can format them as dollars if you want. It's currency. See, and it'll turn it into accounting currency with a, it's not red though. You can change that format if you want. But I'll just leave it like that. Let's see, more accounting. Currency. I don't know why it doesn't give me, the custom. Doesn't give me the opportunity to make it red. I don't know why. This looks different than before. This is like a new, they updated Excel and Word. Oh, here it is, currency. So I'll just use this one. So let's use that. Like we've been using, it turns red. So let's make them all currency. More accounting formats, currency, and that makes that one. So all the negatives will be red instead of negative. Red and brackets. So that's accounting. And then this is 4. Oh, there's no 4. All right. So what we're going to make over here is a percentage and an NPV. Center them. And only because I know the answer. So I'll usually tell you the range of values. So in the assignment, you can see I tell you which range of values to use. But to make this work, we actually have to go really far negative. So let's go negative 30, which again, doesn't make sense, but mathematically we want to see if there's an internal rate of return over there on the negatives that we don't have to worry too much about. So I'll explain that in a bit. So now we're going to use the NPV formula, but we have to add first this amount, right? So I touch that plus NPV. I open the function and I have to put the rate. So I'm going to put this as the rate. I can touch it. I think I have to put it as 0.3. I can't remember now. We'll fix it after. And then the values. So these are all my values. I'm going to touch them and close this. And if it looks weird, I'm going to make it look weird. Let me double check for NPV. Do I put it as, what did I say here? For the IRR, you put a decimal. For the NPV, you put a decimal, right? I don't use Excel all the time. Okay, yeah. I'm going back in the notes. What did I put? Rate.
Sorry, can you just show the form, what you entered again to get the minus 939.78?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is show you here. Remember though that mine is for where I've positioned everything. So it's B2, but it's just the thing. It's going to be the first cash flow plus the NPV of the rest. So I'm going to write this as a decimal or a percentage. Is that going to work? Yeah, that's the amount, isn't it? Okay. Okay, questions about what I did and tell me if you got it. I had to tell it percentage because then it'll automatically make it a decimal. I could also make it a decimal. It'll work. Yeah, it reads it as a percentage now that I made a percentage. Let's do the next one. So let's do negative 20. And what I'm going to do is just copy this down. Control copy, control paste. Yeah.
I'm sorry. When I did that, I got a different number.
Okay, let's see. Can you share yours?
I can share my screen.
Let me make you participant.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can go.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah. You're so close. 940. Oh, no, I got 30. That's right. Okay, so you need to make it a percentage, Patty. Oh, I lost power. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? You hear me?